Father, please, you can have my Led Zeppelin records, George Michael, anything. That's my boy! Wimp.
I tried to make it right, but maybe I went wrong. Every step I took, it felt like I was just driving along.
Britannia!
What if all my efforts were just a waste of time? What if everything I said was lost in your... Every good deed, every time I try to shine, it feels like
Communism is king.
I'm just diving in. What if I'm driving and you're still in the maze? Fly or die, it's on you, it's on you. If you think I knew. Fly or die, it's on you, it's on you. You think you
shit,
know
not again.
me, but I'm not the one who flew.
Commander War. Don't be a cunt.
For you, but maybe I'm
having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
Having a ball!
like I was having a ball. What if every choice I made was leading me astray?
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
That's for B4.
Every good deed, every time I try to find my way, feel like I'm just diving in. What if all
Shut the
my
fuck
chances
up.
just a waste of chance? What if I'm just diving and you're still in the dance? Fly or
Right, let's go.
it's on you, it's on you. If
Oh, look at that little snowman. This is gonna be fun. Oh no, what did I do?
Fly or dive, it's on you, it's on you. You think you know me, but I'm not the one Fly or dive, it's on you, it's on you. If you think you know me, you're not the one I knew.
The UTK march is in May. It's actually a day after my birthday, a day after I turned 50. And obviously, as it gets closer, people talk about it more. And my channel, I gotta say, before I get into this subject, this is gonna be one of those things where there's no pleasing everybody with the line that I'm trying to walk here. Trying to, you know, so I have, like I said, a target audience, and that target audience is people that want to save the country. I'm not going to please every division, every group, and I'm not trying to. But I am trying to look and be more positive about things and try and be more proactive about things rather than just complaining about things like certain people do. We've all seen them. So the UTK march is coming up. Now, I understand why some people might not appreciate it. Maybe you've got different politics from Tommy, or just different politics from what you know many people call civnats, or there's actually multiple different people with multiple different reasons, and that's fair enough. So let's assume. Okay then, so let's assume my worst fears are true and that the UTK march happens and then nothing happens afterwards of any significance, and it feels like we've had all that momentum and then we've let it go. Let's say they get lightning in a bottle twice, they get that same atmosphere, and they get everything else. Because if you were there, you'd understand it was very, very powerful atmosphere. It was very good. So all of that causes online traffic, causes a lot of people from all around the world and in Great Britain to go searching for that traffic, for that event, and for any channels tied to it, talking about it, for and against. It creates an entire wave of traffic about our country, of traffic about our politics. So I have an idea that may be more constructive than just hating on it because your personal beliefs about Tommy, or I'm not saying I agree or disagree, by the way. Again, I'm trying to stay impartial for this video. I'm trying to say that whatever your political beliefs, your personal beliefs, there's going to be a lot of nationalist traffic happening. And And if they get lightning in a bottle twice, there will be millions watching. We can either sit in silence, people, and especially the ones that really hate the march, they can either sit in silence and do nothing, which is their right, or they can use the supercharged energy, if they manage to get that lightning in the bottle again, do something positive with it. And this is the idea I've got, and this is where I think we should go down. So whether you like the march, whether you're like me and like the march but didn't like what happened afterwards, or whether you're one of the people that just likes it because of who's doing it or the politics, there's going to be a lot of nationalist traffic regardless. And there'll be a wave before it. We've all seen it, all us YouTubers have seen it. There's a wave that comes before it, during and afterwards. And if there's any dramas that happen, like when the police mess with things and everything else, that only pushes it up further. The traffic just goes crazy. So it's a great time to get messages out. So what I'm trying to say is, as a hater of it, but a lover of your country, as a indifferent, or as a lover of it, assume we do have an issue. Maybe it's just funding, but we have an issue after this. Let's say they get lightning in a bottle again. I remember a lot of sports people talking like this as well. You can either be bitter about somebody else's event, or you can use the positivity and ride the wave and ride it like a surfboard. So before we jump on to hating on the event, which I don't think is productive, how about using the event? Using there's going to be so many eyeballs. Again, I know YouTube traffic for years, and like I say, there will probably be doubts about whether Tommy will be there. All this drama will happen beforehand, which will only increase the interest. Any media blackouts will increase the interest. The more they fight against us, the more interest goes online, and it drives traffic towards channels. Okay, so it's also a great time then to be making videos about not only that march, but then restore Britain, if that's who you're behind. It's a great time to open people up to the politics that we've been talking about, the discussions we've been having the last few days. You can either say, well, I don't like this march for my own particular reasons, so I'm going to sit it out, which is okay, but you're missing an opportunity. There's going to be a tidal wave coming. If they capture lightning in a bottle twice, there'll be a lot of normal, casual British people that just want to pick a side that's for their country. Have material ready to release around that time, to capitalise on the extra traffic, rather than to step outside of it and boycott it. Because by boycotting that traffic, you're boycotting a lot of people you may not realise are exactly like you and got similar beliefs to you. Because again, it's like an onion, anything else, the support around Tommy, the support around anybody. So there's always going to be overlap, is what I'm trying to say, between groups and the rest of it. So people need to think of it, even if they're in the most negative of camps, they need to think of it as still a gathering of the people of our country, for hopefully good reasons, and something that we can all use positively. And if you tag on to this kind of traffic, and if you plan events around this kind of event and this kind of traffic, if your message is honest, clean, what I mean by clean is if it's honest, it's not hateful and all the rest of this other stuff, if it's true and it's really about Britain, people are going to listen. I'm sorry to take this off track, but WrestleMania, everybody's heard of that these days, right? It's the WWE's biggest event, overpriced event, but whatever. The point of it is WrestleMania is the attraction, right? But a town buys it in like they're buying the Olympics or something. They have it in their town, and there's loads of benefits to local businesses. But also, every wrestling company, even if they're enemies with this company, will come into town and run their wrestling business. Why? Because people don't give a shit which company you're at when they're out, when they've paid thousands of dollars to be at an event like that, and to be in a square like that. When they've got a cheap or a free wrestling event they can go for, they say they're there for a week and they're wrestling fans, and they can go to this cheap wrestling event here, then go there with the kids, then go here with the kids. It's all really affordable, and all the way leading up to their big WrestleMania night. Well, let's say you're a UFC fan, or an MMA fan, and and there's a big UFC fight week going on. You hate the UFC, but again, if you're a rival promotion, it would make sense at that time if there was a massive push for a UFC big promotion and there was going to be a lot in Vegas, put fights on in Vegas around that week. Not for pay-per-view because you won't sell them, but for people to walk in off the streets, for people to buy tickets off the streets, you're going to make money because people are interested in the fight business, not in the UFC business, not in the WWE business in the wrestling case. It's the same with what's happening now. It doesn't matter whether you agree with UTK, don't agree with UTK, or indifferent to UTK. It matters that it brings eyeballs, it brings traffic. And I think to sit in the coffee shop pouting because you personally don't like it isn't helpful. I think that the minimum, if you're, say, a creator, you can do is think about how you could use that traffic to be prepared at the time to try and take advantage of it, to try and open up more hearts and minds of the people out there who don't know all the truths yet. How you could use it to catapult your own interests. And when I say your own interests, hopefully you're thinking of the country, but you know what I'm trying to say. Your own political point of view is what I'm trying to get at. There's a lot of, you can do two things when something else rises. You can be bitter and throw stones at it, or you can use it as a mount to jump off yourself so that you can also gain height. And the one where you use it as something positive is, generally speaking, is where you also got the most positive mental attitude, because you are going out to try and make something good happen off the energy of something else, as opposed to trying to pull the energy of everything down because you haven't got any better ideas. And that's what I'm saying. If people are just out there just to pull the UTK march down, well, what does that really achieve? But if you've got content to put up around it, that's much more constructive. Do that. If you've got an event you can hold, a demo you can hold around that time, anything around that time you want in your area of the country, people might be more willing to go because they're going to be in that. Also, it's demo season, you know, so, and especially in June, July, August, use the UTK march as a staging ground for war. One thing I do know is I think we might need to keep our powder dry this summer. There's going to be a lot of people who are very angry, and possibly, we don't know what's coming yet. There's going to be more irritation on the rise, and we need to fight it the smart way, the right way. We need this next election, and we do not want to give them any excuses to try and put it off. It's going to be a difficult few years, this. Mr. Starmer is going to make sure of it, and if he doesn't, his legacy will. Where is he at the moment, by the way? Being very quiet. Anybody notice that? Wonder if he's already being replaced. Interesting to see. Here's what I do fucking know. I've refused to any longer live in a country that talks on and on about fucking tolerance without objectivity, which basically means they're tolerant to every fucking backward bastard culture on the planet, every fucked up baby shagging culture that there is. They are ready to fucking embrace. It doesn't matter whether they're cannibals or child shaggers. They are prepared to fuck us all. And you know what? I refuse to be part of that. I refuse to take part in that. I know our people are civilized, and we're importing uncivilized people in. I refuse to take part in the people that call themselves liberal and are absolutely retarded and absolutely determined that they will only accept the type of liberation that they want, which is becoming less and less and less and less things. They don't give a toss about your rights, my rights, they don't care about anybody's human rights. They care about being right. We're the only people that can't moan. And yet we live here. Under threat of being called racist. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Because I'm hearing a lot of negativity. I get it. In some cases I do get it. I had my own disappointments last time. And obviously with things in the background, you know, I've got a different perspective on it whatsoever. But if you were there, then you know it was an amazing atmosphere, and you know how many people were there, and you know, you got to give credit where it's due. They got the eyeballs on that they said they would. Just didn't do anything after, but we can. But we need something that's moving us forward now. And you know, maybe what I'm really getting at is we need something maybe more. But I don't know what they've got planned for this march, by the way. So I may be barking up the wrong tree. This may be exactly what they're planning to do. But we do. I do think we need to have something more based on maybe restore, maybe the election, maybe you know, we really do need to be making people aware of that election 3 years away. In case we have an early election, a snap election, we really do need to be making people aware of Rupert Lowe now. We really do need to be making people aware of the seriousness now. We need to start that campaigning yesterday. So if any of that's done, then it'll be worth it. And if it's not, then the traffic that it drives will still be worth it if people put that message out. So you see what I'm saying? It's really up to people whether they want to make it a positive or make it a negative. Instead of just bringing the politics up as an excuse. Fuck the politics. There are eyeballs from people of your countrymen who you can win their hearts and minds. So let's do it. Some dickheads just truly don't get it, do they? And this is what, well, we'll get to it, okay? But this is what they don't understand is the more and more they do this, the more and more they're making me question things. So someone who admits they're from America and knows that I'm in the UK, calls me out on the video I did. Which video was it? Israel and other countries need scrutiny. Yeah, the live stream we did the other day. And he's obviously not, this person's obviously not watched the whole video. But it's quoted a couple of bits from it. It says, can't criticize Israel, question mark, 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 which tells you already in the first comment, this person's unhinged with anger or emotion. So already you know their emotions are up there. The biggest social media influencers at the moment are Jew haters. Nick Fuentes, in America, widely regarded as a bit of a fruitcake. Dave Smith, don't know who that is. Candace Owens, right-wing crackpot at the moment. Sneeko, a complete knob, influencer, manosphere kind of guy. And a total loser, and everybody knows it. Hassan Piker, again, another loser. Dan Bazarian speaks for himself. All of these, all in America. These are all American influencers or people in America doing influencing. Nothing to do with the UK whatsoever. He says the anti-Jew grift is the biggest grift today. That might be true in America. I wouldn't know. But that's not true of the UK. We've had a looming shadow of World War II over us, which has meant that nobody would think to criticize Israel. Nobody would think to criticize anything that way because there's still so much of that overshadowing us. We're not like America, and we don't have free speech either, you know, so people didn't feel like they could talk about anything against Israel openly. So whether this guy likes it or not, it's a fact that I've said in my comment back to him that and that's the other thing this person said, and this is how I know he didn't watch the video. He said that, sorry, I'll just read it to you. He said that you can't criticize the Jews narrative, it's absolute inversion of reality. There's only one ideology you can't criticize, and that's Islam. Meanwhile, whilst everyone is complaining about not being able to criticize Jews, you literally got people being locked up for criticizing Islam. Quick fact. APAC only donated 350 million over the last 30 years, 700 million. Qatar gave a plane that cost 400 million as a gift. So much money is being pumped into our countries by Saudi, Qatar, China, and China than Israel. It's not about money though. We discussed this on the channel the other day. With Israel, it's about foundational embedding with Saudi Arabia, it's about transactional. So Saudi Arabia puts the capital in, Israel puts in the foundational politics and things like that. So on the surface, they don't appear to be spending the same amount of money, but they are embedding themselves even further into the culture. That's just fact. That's not even a conspiracy theory. That's just a known thing for safe politics in our country. So, again, this person is absolutely wrong. He needs to worry about his own country. So he said the mass psychosis and brain rot is actually going to leave the UK. It sounds like Ben Shapiro. Leave the UK in a shit tip situation. It's already fucked up the alliance with America. We fucked up the alliance with America because we got a left-wing Keir Starmer in power. But so what he said was, don't criticize it. So what I've just said to him was basically all the podcasts that he listed, and I listed them back to him. I said, all in America. I said, in the UK, we don't go around casually Jew hating. I said, and P.S., I have covered Islam for the last 8 years, which is a fact. And I said, and I've spent 0% of that time on Israel. And I said, and this is true. I said, amazingly, I've not had half the pushback talking about Islam as I have just mentioning Israel. Why is that? Because it's true. The pushback I've had from even mentioning Israel is unreal. From extremists to turning Nazi to all this far right stuff, crazy responses to this nutter here. Absolute, total, especially in his case, and people like him, total emotional responses. He's like so defensive. And there's nothing in there that I said that was an attack on the Jews. But he's defending Israel. Let's make this clear. He's talked about Jew hate and everything else. But my argument was against Israel. And his argument is for Israel. So he's trying to make out it's Jew hating, but he is actually trying just to defend the country. Oh, Israel's good. He's trying to say Israel's good. They haven't spent the money you're trying to say. They haven't spent anywhere near as, it's whataboutism. They haven't spent anywhere near as Saudi Arabia on the surface. No, but have they infiltrated? Have they done as much damage? It's not about how much money you spend. It's about what effect you have on a country that isn't yours. Isn't it? If you've got to spend more money, that just says your methods are more ineffective or they just cost more. But I think, again, World War II hangover, I think it has given Israel and other reasons, the fact that Britain was part of giving them land in the first place. And I think that so many things have bled into this, and the religious reasons as well. But, it's no good the likes of Ben Shapiro and this prick here bringing up what's going on in America, which has got very little to do with what's going on here. And bringing up all these American podcasters, that's going on your side. Get upset with them. But the fact of it is, people have been shut down, like this person's trying to shut me down over this subject so many times, that it's what's made people like me curious. Why do you keep shutting me down? I covered Islam. The Charlie Hebdo murders. I covered Islam. And I've had threats and that, but I never had quite what I'm getting now over Israel. And yet I've not attacked a single Jew. I've not been racist. I've not been hateful. And yet the pushback's been unbelievable from certain quarters. Sorry, but that screams something. I don't know what exactly. I'm not going to say guilt just yet, but it screams something. And I'm sorry to any Jewish people out there that feel like I'm not having an attack at you. This is specific people. And again, I treat every individual as an individual. So this is not blanket washing anybody, because that wouldn't be fair. But when it's certain people that are coming out like this that show me, again, they're desperate. They're desperate to get my attention back on Islam and off of their precious Israel. Now, I don't know anybody other than North Korea where they have to pretend who loves their government that much. Shady as fuck. Tom Fury. So the other thing that's going on right now is Rupert Lowe has put out a big, long post, giving his reasons why he's not going to be in the May election. And people are taking this different ways from what I can tell. Some are using it as a chance to jump on him as a sign of weakness. Some are picking hold to other things. Others are saying it's all strategy, blah, 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 blah. But everybody's jumping on some part of it or another. And by the way, that's not a terrible thing. Like, people are going to, be arguing and all the rest of it. But it's not a terrible thing to have someone's politics challenged. Because ultimately, that's going to happen a lot more. And good ideas always shine. They'll always stand up to scrutiny. So, the thing for me is, I already talked about this with you guys fucking weeks ago. Literally, I think when he first got in, when he first said he was going to do a party. And so I think we talked with you guys about this weeks ago. I think during a walk and talk, and I was saying to you then that, so that was what, 5 weeks ago? I said to you then that he'd be stupid if he tried to do anything in the May local elections. I said it would be a fucking waste of money. And they need every penny they can get to run campaigns they can actually win. And I said that a new party, especially if it's got to worry about funding and things, as in how much funding it's got and things like that, it's trying to get candidates and everything else. Why throw it in for an election just to say you took part? You're not here to take part. You're here to take over. So it's not about bold strategy. It's not about clever strategy. It's about not wasting fucking money on symbolic vote, symbolic representation. That's all it would be. Symbolic representation. Oh, Rupert's running. Whoop he fucking do. If he ain't winning, it ain't worth it. So people can jump on it. That's fine. Like I say, all politics need to be scrutinised by people. Shouldn't be so defensive about it. But for me, I don't feel caught up in it. Because again, we spoke about this 5 weeks ago. And 5 weeks ago it made sense. It makes the same sense now. And that's, why would you waste your money on something that you can't really make a dent in yet? And probably, again, I know he's talking about fielding all the candidates. But I'm sure it's more than that. I'm sure there's a lot of things. The only thing I thought he got slightly wrong, but I think it's just his style, is just how long the post was addressing it. I felt like there was a lot of, it seemed like it was a post almost worried about people being pissed off about it. And I just think, keep being unapologetic because it makes perfect fucking sense. And I would have just been a bit more short with the post. Just said it doesn't make any sense to do it now. Which it doesn't. I don't think any of you out there would have really been expecting him to win. Although, with that said, in a few places probably could have done. But the point of it is, in 38 days, I don't suppose many of you expected him to be going out and smashing local elections. So I don't think it'd be any surprise to a lot of people, would it? So I don't know what the fuss is about. And if anything, like I say, if he made any mistake at all, it was just, I felt the post was too long. Although whether he did that himself or not is a separate thing. When you're running a party, it's different, isn't it? But and that, I think that the length of it gave people something to hang on to, like it was an excuse or something. It wasn't an excuse. It was just them explaining things. But yeah, me personally, I just would have had it shorter. But that is really nitpicking, But yeah, I don't get it. What is the fuss about? Go for elections you can win. Don't spend on money on ones you can't. Especially when it's your first ones. Do you know what I mean? Just go for the ones you can win and then keep winning, and don't think about losing ever again. Until you've got the prize, sort of thing. Yeah, that's what I'd be doing. And it's not about bold, super smart strategy. It's fucking common sense. Keep the money for it. It makes a difference. Just my thoughts. Tom Fury, 0 News.